today. Before we get started, I just wanted to be sure that you know about a couple things. First of all, this is a safe space and we can talk about anything you want. But also, there are a few very specific rules to that confidentiality, and I just want to let you know of them ahead of time. I will have to tell somebody if you make me aware that you may be a harm to yourself or others, or if you let me know of any abuse situation concerning any protected populations like children or the elderly or anybody who may be disabled. Also, in the very rare case, a court subpoena, if for whatever reason you get legally involved, the court can ask me to give them the records of our sessions, and that would be a case where I would have to give them that information. Other than that, we are being recorded, and that is because I am a counselor in training. I'm being overseen by Dr. Nikki Hilton, who is a licensed psychologist. So we may discuss the recording of our session with her. Do you have any questions about any of these things?
No, all good.
Okay. So, what did you want to talk about today?
I've been having kind of this issue with one of my friends. I had to graduate, and things have been a little bit rough. And she actually graduated last year. We're from the same hometown, so it's been really cool to be friends on campus.
Yeah.
But I suddenly stopped hearing from her around 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's been really weird since then.
Weird how?
I literally haven't heard anything. And usually, when we would talk just about every day.
Mm-hmm.
Back and forth, whether it be Snapchat or texting or whatever.
So we were really close.
Yeah, and it suddenly just went silent.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell nothing that would have happened beforehand?
No. Everything was really normal.
Have you seen her around?
No. She's been back home.
So it sounds like you're almost concerned a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little bit. The thing is, though, she watches my Instagram stories or Snapchat stories, but doesn't
Okay, so you know she's still alive.
Yeah, she's alive. No, she's alive. She's just not answering.
Gotcha. So have you reached out to her?
Yeah, I reached out a couple times, normally, I would.
Yeah.
And then probably 2 weeks ago, I just sent her a text message saying, hey, hope everything's okay. Know that I'm always here to talk, if you need to talk.
Yeah.
Or, if you need space right now, that's totally fine with me. But, say if you're okay.
So being a really supportive friend in that sense.
I try to be, yeah.
But still no answer?
No.
That's to hurt. You know, it's hard.
It kind of does, because really, I was her roommate last year, and she was going through the process of applying to grad schools and the whole thing I'm going through now.
Right.
And it was really hard on her, and we were kind of a support system for each other. But now that it's my turn, I don't get that support. It's kind of, I'm kind of pissed off about it, to be honest.
Yeah? Tell me more about it. The pissed off feeling.
Yeah.
Is it more of a resentment or some sort of betrayal? Tell me more about that.
I don't know. There's really difference between the two. It's just she didn't get in, and she took
to
it.
grad school?
Yeah, and she took it really, really hard.
Okay.
Breakdown hard.
When was that? When did she find that out?
In the spring.
Okay. So this is why you're still roommates?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we remain friends, we made it through, and everything seemed okay. She was still kind of, sad about it, and she would get, really stressed out, talking about that stuff, so I really avoided talking about grad school stuff around her, which was hard because, she was someone to vent to.
That's something you needed.
Yeah. So I kind of avoided the subject altogether with her. Yeah, and I think before she stopped talking to me, I think we we made a plan, like, we hadn't, like, had as much face-to-face, like, conversation as we said we kind of were gonna do. So I was like, hey, like, I'm kind of having a rough time. I didn't even say it was about grad school, like, would you be free this weekend to, like, FaceTime or whatever? She was like, yeah, of course. I, like, texted her that weekend, I think, later, and was like, hey, like, what are you doing, like, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. That was, like, it.
So she agreed, and then ended up backing out.
Yeah.
That almost hurts a little bit worse. Because, you know, she almost kind of led you on in that sense. Yeah. So, following that incident, you reached back out to her again?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like, it's not a big deal for me. Like, everybody forgets they're gonna face me or whatever.
Sure.
Like, that's totally fine. I've done that.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was normal. So I just, like, you know, did what we normally would do, which is, like, Snapchat every once in a while or, like, send, like, you know, a funny thing on Instagram. And, like, no, she wouldn't even open it. Like, no response at all.
Mm. So just complete dead silence from this girl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Which is really different because, and I almost worried that it was, like, my fault at first because normally with that kind of stuff, she's the one that, like, initiates, like, she's the one, like, sending stuff usually all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was worried that, like, she didn't think I was reciprocating enough, so she was kind of, like, done. But looking back on it, like, I don't know if that's, like, the case, because I really tried to, like, if she would send something, like, I would send something back, like, try to match it. Because I know something she talked about, like, was being really sad that some of her friends from here, like, don't talk to her as much, or don't reach out.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tried to, like, reach out.
Yeah. So, just specifically in this area, so is she older or younger, about the same age?
She's actually younger.
Okay, so she hasn't been here as long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But do you know if she has many other friends, either like from the same area, or is she talking to anybody else?
She has a really good friend from back home that she talks to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she and, like, maybe her friend's boyfriend were, like, hanging out at one point, like.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you still are kind of feeling the deterioration of this relationship between you 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you were kind of almost seeing if it was something that you did. What would it be that led you to believe that? Can you pinpoint anything?
I don't know if I did anything. It just feels like, I don't know, I guess I'm just looking for a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, a reason I can control. Like if I did something, like, oh, I can, like, fix it, I can make it better.
Right. But without really knowing.
No.
And it's the not knowing that makes it hurt so much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's almost like you don't even get to go through the pain of losing a friend because it's like it's just a ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So in the wake of that,
Mm-hmm.
I know you said that she was kind of a vent for you as far as grad school goes. Have you been able to, you know, fill that hole in your support system and be able to find other people that you connect with on that level?
Yeah, I've talked to my roommates and, you know, people in the lab and,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even class,
Good.
even counseling class, yeah.
Good. So, as far as your connection with this girl before,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was there anything that you feel like could have, or that you could have picked up on that may have led to her distancing herself? Maybe apart from you, or something that she talked about?
I think I was talking about this to my mom too. It's like, because I'm kind of applying to grad school, and she's one of those people that, like, is very conscious of, like, how she is compared to others. She's always, like, trying to, like, come out on top.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, she's doing this because in case I do get into grad school, that would really hurt her. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like like my friend can do this, but I can't,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So you're afraid that she might compare herself to you if you get good results back, and knowing that she didn't back in the spring.
I think also being away from campus has been difficult because she isn't a student anymore and is, working a job and like doing other things. So our experiences right now are just kind of different.
Yeah. So different stages of life.
Yeah, and I think she misses, because she graduated a full year early, I think she misses, being a student and like what comes with that, like connection-wise.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm reevaluating this in my head. I thought you were saying she was a a sophomore or junior.
She actually is younger than me
but she graduated early.
Yeah.
So she's done and she's working.
Yeah.
Having already applied to grad school.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page. Okay. So yeah, that different stage of life, that's a big transition for her, and one that you're about to undergo too. Do you think that had anything to play into that social change for her?
I think so. I think it was a big adjustment, especially since, I didn't graduate as well. So she kind of I don't know if she felt like alone back home, or she kind of had to rebuild her social support system back home, kind of by herself.
Yeah. But in some ways, rebuilding doesn't always mean tearing down and starting back up. It's building on top of what you have. And it seems like you're kind of feeling like you got torn down in the rebuilding process. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah. I don't even, I don't know. I know she hangs out with friends back home, but I don't know, really how many people? Or if it's just, that kind of small group.
Yeah.
Because even her job is kind of isolating. She's a nanny for 2 twin, babies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So she's at somebody's house for, 7, 8 hours a day.
Right. So she's probably pretty immersed in that, too. Yeah. So, I know you said you reached out to her initially. Have you reached out to her since she's been home, beyond that first text saying that you were there to support her if you needed?
No, because I don't want to always be the person reaching out. I feel at some point it's up to her to answer me.
Yeah, no, I am completely agree.
Yeah, I don't want to keep putting energy into something if it's not gonna return anything.
Right.
And it feels weird to say that about this friendship, but I really don't have the time or the mental energy to do this right now.
To do what right now?
To try to track her down and figure out what happened. Or even if I want to do that, it just seems really weird because she told me that in high school, her best friend ghosted her after graduation. So for her to turn around and do that to someone else feels really weird.
A little bit hypocritical. Yeah. Okay. So, I completely agree. At a certain point, there's a limit to how much emotional energy you can put into something if you're not getting anything back. And I think that's just a self-care thing. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt or sting a little bit when it happens. So, you said you've been able to find some other friends and, be able to patch your own social group, as it were. But, I don't know, how do you feel about, lessening the amount of emotional work that you're putting into this friendship?
It feels just kind of weird. I guess I'm a nostalgic person, and not it's hard to like give up on something, especially since like we were really close. Like she was my best friend basically throughout college. And we met freshman year like before the first week of classes.
Okay.
During orientation, we're like friends since.
So basically 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little less.
Mhm.
But it's a long time. Yeah.
And we've done a lot together and like really, I don't know, I just felt really close to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell. Because, I mean, just you talking about it right now, you're kind of closing in on yourself and, I don't know. What are you feeling right now talking about it?
I mean, it's really vulnerable.
Yeah.
Cause there's also like a weird like social norm component of having friends. It's like, what does that say about you as a person if you can't keep friends? Like I feel like society has this thing where like, you're supposed to like hold on, have as many friends as you can, and like hold on to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. Like, I think the longest friendship I've ever had is like 7 years.
That's a pretty long time.
Yeah. With someone from high school, and it's like just because our personalities match, and we don't always like I could not talk to her for a couple weeks, and it would be totally fine. Like we would pick up just like before. Like,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was different with her. Like I felt like I had to like. We both put in a lot of energy and effort, like continuously.
Mm-hmm. So, comparing how it felt to be in that friendship versus this friendship, do you think there's any chance of picking back up, as it were? Maybe at some later point.
I mean, I think there might be. I don't know if I'm gonna be the one to initiate that, to be honest. Because I'm still a little bit angry. I just like it's like confusion, but also like frustration. It's like what the hell, like.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of this to just not respond.
Yeah, it's like where did like I supported you through so much, and like literally tried to talk you down. Like she would like yell at me. I would like try to help her, and she would yell at me. I would have to like avoid our room last spring for like.
What do you mean yell at you?
Like she would be like catastrophizing about grad school, just be like I'm never gonna get in anywhere, like this is gonna ruin my life. I would say something. I wouldn't even like offer to fix it. I would just be like, hey, like take a deep breath, it's gonna be okay.
Just trying to de-escalate.
Yeah, like I know it's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like go off.
Wow.
Like, okay.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot. Yeah, so that's another level to all this. Do you feel like that maybe had an effect from this friendship moving forward?
I think I definitely tiptoed around her more around grad school stuff. Yeah.
Do you think maybe losing that connection of supporting each other through the whole grad school process, how do you think that affected that friendship?
No, I think it's like a weird thing. Like it really felt like one-sided last spring. Like felt like I was like putting in a lot of work to like try to help her and like support her. And even like earlier this fall, like earlier in the semester, like I don't know if she like really missed people at school, but she was like super communicative, like she even like when I got my comms grade back, she like sent me like a card like saying congratulations. It was crazy. It was like, wow. So it was really sweet, but then just
dropped off.
Like it felt like that support was kind of like coming back, and then it all of a sudden just like stopped.
Yeah. It's almost a little bit of hope at the beginning of the semester, and then it just kind of turned. So, moving forward, you said maybe opportunity to reach out, but it would be coming from her, which, you know, judging from just the emotional drain that you're expressing, that seems healthy, you know. Would you agree?
I think so.
Can you see her doing more in the future?
Possibly. She's really stubborn. Really stubborn. So it's a possibility. And I think if she really got to a point where she needed like support again, she would come back. And I think at that point, like we would have to have a conversation. Like I don't know if I would be. I'd just be like how I feel then, but I don't know if I'd be ready to like just start off like where we left off.
So you see, if she were to come back, it would be for her wanting something, aka support. In your mind, how would you react if that were the case? That was a look.
I'd be kind of angry, to be honest. I don't know if we got to like living together was a completely different experience. Like I think we both like saw each other's boundaries and like she knows what sets me off and I know what sets her off. So
that's what happens when you live with somebody.
Yep. So I think she would know that I would not be like happy. Be like kind of confused. What the hell?
Yeah.
So that might also be a thing. She might also be afraid to reach back out. She's like, oh crap! Like I waited this long because I was going through something, and now like it's been too long. So there might just be like
back to the social norms.
Yeah, there just might be like a stalemate there. And
is it worth breaking the stalemate?
Maybe I just don't want to be the person that keeps putting stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because after a while, it's like I don't want to seem like desperate for a friendship. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
So
explain it.
Like it's really vulnerable to keep reaching out and being like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Like I don't want to be annoying, but also I don't want to like end up hurting myself by like keep reaching out and like not hearing it. Like it's like getting your feelings hurt like over and over again, almost.
So is it a fear of being vulnerable or emotional exhaustion keeping you from reaching out?
I think it's more of like being vulnerable, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it is scary reaching out, and it almost feels, you know, almost like you're exposing the hurt that is there from the divide that's been caused between the two. But, you know, when you look at it and you're deciding whether to reach out or not, and being affected by that fear that you have of being vulnerable, to you, is it worth it to put yourself on the line to salvage this friendship? Or are you afraid in that sense? Like, are you shortening yourself on this friendship? Or is it more of a practicality?
And there. You know, I would be willing to totally like forget this, like lose by it.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, at this point, it's like up to her.
That's kind of what I'm getting from what you're saying, but I just wanted to be sure
Yeah,
that it wasn't a fear thing.
not so much at this point. It's just frustrating. I would say.
And that's fair too.
It's like I know I've done as much as I can, besides like calling her mom, which seems really intrusive. So I don't want to do that. You
That's
know,
fair.
like she's an adult, like she's gonna make her own choices. Like,
Right.
Like I'm gonna like if she wants to make a boundary, like that's on her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm just gonna like. I have friends at home. I have a social support system. I have people here. So I think I can make it. It's just weird because like she was probably one of the closest people out of all of them.
So I see we're kind of running out of time,
Mhm.
but we've talked about how it's felt with this divide in your friendship, and let's take it. Hey, I'm sorry for the interruption.
No worries.
But I think that we've talked about a lot today, and we talked about that divide between you and your friend, and how it feels for you, and that almost being left behind feeling, and also how you've rebuilt and patched gaps in your social support system, and been able to talk about this with other friends, and been able to support yourself in the process, even though you've experienced a loss. Moving forward, what do you think you can do to build yourself up from this loss?
I think relying less on others for like a sense of not necessarily like I don't know, like being able to handle things myself instead of like necessarily venting to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Relying more on different kinds of people, just besides like one or two. Like really taking advantage of my full like support system.
Yeah. And doing that, it is okay to vent to people too. But, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
That covered it.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and talking to me. I'm happy that you were able to find that new normal in your social group and move forward from this. And if anything, I hope there's a positive outcome for you and your friend.
Thanks, guys.